Hey guys, do you know someone considering renting their property as an Airbnb? I have worked with Rental Advisor for over a decade, and Rental Advisor provides free rental projections to prospective owners, realtors, and investors for any property in the US. So if you know someone considering getting into the vacation rental industry, have them email management@myrentaladvisor.com to get their free revenue projections. And hard rationalism. That isn't to say, and just to clarify for everyone, we're for science. We're
Yes,
for reason.
unambiguously. I like electricity, running water, telescopes, computers, all of it. And I like science as a philosophy. I am 100% in favor of science.
Yes.
Scientism is something different.
Yes. And it's the it's the exclusion of additional things that is the problem. It's when those things become the ultimate and nothing else is allowed into it. Now, what's interesting here in this next quote, let me pull it up here. This quote nailed me. I really thought it was interesting. You said, we have said that faith is not a proposition about reality, but a response to something emanating from that reality. Tell me what you mean by that.
This is like my father's contribution, by the way. Just want to this is a co-written book, and that's 100% him. That part right there. So we define faith at the beginning of the book in as common sense and just general way as possible, which means there's kind of two components to it. There's faithfulness, which is the idea that you have fidelity to a person or an ideal in just in the general sense, and also faith as belief, which is this idea that there's like a proposition out there that you believe. But through the course of the book, we're kind of showing that the propositional idea of faith is just insufficient. That's not really going to get you all the way to the mystery of why faith is important and why faith matters. And what we get to in the end is this quote here, right? Which is that faith isn't just like a list of things that you believe. Faith is a response to everything going on around you in the world. And it has to be a response because faith has to be a choice. And this gets really complicated. Faith has to be a choice because we know in the scriptures that people are rewarded or punished for faith, right? And if God was rewarding or punishing people for something that was outside their control, that was not a choice, that would violate justice. So faith has to be a choice. But faith can't be a choice in the sense of, I'm going to believe X, but not Y. That doesn't make sense. Nobody can just wish themselves to believe things, right? You can't just pick and choose what you're going to believe. Belief, it arises from your assessment of the evidence, right? So how can faith be a choice? What are we talking about? And this is what we're talking about. Faith is the response to the world around you as you decide what principles you're going to incorporate when you evaluate belief, what sources of evidence you're going to turn to. It kind of goes back to what you've been saying, where science is very limiting. If you're going to try to be the perfect scientist, then you're going to shut yourself off to intuition completely. Well, good luck with that. And you're going to shut yourself off to aesthetic consideration, which, by the way, we know that scientists don't do. Scientists are motivated in their theories by things like symmetry and beauty and simplicity. But if you were trying to be like the strictest scientist in the worst sense of the word, you would be cutting yourself off from all of these things that are emanating from the universe. And so what we're saying is that's not faith. Faith is also not just picking and choosing what to believe, but faith is your attitude in response to all the different sources of information and knowledge that are coming from the world. Beauty, truth, revelation, scripture, evidence, reason, logic. Faith is the attitude that we take when we're deciding how we want to react to all these sources of truth. And the truest source of faith, the truest faith in the sense of the word, is being open to all of the different avenues of information and knowledge. That is a choice. That is a moral choice. And we're responsible for it. We're responsible for the decision to shut our eyes or to open our eyes, to hear or not to hear. That's where the morality comes in. And it influences what we believe, but only secondarily. Because as we decide, what evidence am I gonna accept? Well, downstream from that, it's going to determine your beliefs, right? But not in a superficial, childish way of I believe this, I don't believe that, but more I accept morality into my view of what's true and what's not. I accept the idea that God communicate with us. So we're opening ourselves up to these avenues of information. And because of that, we're going to end up with different beliefs than we would have if we shut ourselves off to them.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way you put that. So if I'm understanding correctly, the idea here is that you live in reality and you have a chance to respond to the reality that you exist in. And the way that you respond to that reality is a manifestation of your faith. And if you are not choosing to respond to the reality that is coming at you, the revelation, the beauty, all of it, if you're closing your eyes to those things, you're
There's a
not
word. I was going to say,
oh, go ahead.
Given up, but the word for that is pride. Like, that's what we're really talking about, because when you shut yourself off to those things, the reason people do that most of the time is to assert control. I'm going to decide what I'm going to pay attention to. I'm going to decide what counts as valid evidence. I'm going to be the decider. I'm in control. That's pride. And so the opposite is humility. I'm not going to be the decider. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be receptive to what's out there, and I'm going to conform my beliefs to what I learn. That's humility. And that's why that's why there's a moral core to faith, because faith is an expression of humility. It's saying, I am not God. I am not the person who dictates truth and falsity. I am not the being that ultimately decides what is real and what is not real. It's a recognition that I am a finite being who is flawed, and there's a lot of stuff out there, and I don't know what's true or not, but I'm going to find out the best I can, and I'm going to subject myself to the experiences that come my way. So it really comes down to pride or humility, and that's like the core decision of faith.
And that openness to God and the different ways that he can reveal truth to you, that is a manifestation of faith in God. It's faith in the truth from wherever it comes. And at the end of the day, as I see it, I don't believe in revelation is just that, God only has this one way of revealing things and it just comes through like how you feel inside. I think that's part of a bigger picture of the way that truth is revealed to us. And if we want to seek God is to seek the truth, because God reveals the truth. And so to place your faith in God is the act of opening up your eyes, but not only to open your eyes to see it, but to actually take action upon it. Because, I guess I might put it this way, it's to join in God is playing a song. You need to hear it and you need to play along. You need to join in with your instrument to play his song. But if you don't ever, like you're saying, if you end up having a rationalist, scientistic worldview, you're going to end up not hearing the music because you're shutting off those parts of you. And in fact, the parts of you that I would say are the essence of what makes you a human being. Beauty, love, truth, all the things that we actually really care about are not the things that the scientific worldview has any explanation for or even cares about or even acknowledges. And
Absolutely.
so
that's really beautiful. I like how you put that.
So do you enjoy the content here on Thoughtful Faith? If so, be sure to hit the notification bell. This ensures that our new videos show up on your feed. Also, be sure to check out our Facebook group called Thoughtful Saints, where myself and others discuss the sorts of topics found on this channel. And lastly, if you think other people would benefit from this video, please be sure to share it.